Okay, all right. We'll call to order this meeting of the Finance and Personnel Committee for December 17th. We start with the roll call, please.
And I roll.
Here.
Lorman.
Here.
And I believe Jackson is anticipated.
Okay, great. First item is the audit of the bills. Bill, do you have any items to add?
Yeah, one addition tonight, that is for RG heating and air conditioning. The amount is $4,995. This is for the replacement of a furnace unit in the building at 2610 Parmenter Street in the location where Flynn Audio is located. The unit that's in there was an older unit that had failed. And so our property manager had recommended proceeding with replacing that unit. And this was the low cost replacement given the limited lifespan remaining on the building.
Okay.
Funding for that is coming from TIF 5 where we received the rent payments.
Okay, TIF 5. All right. So with that addition, can I get a motion to approve the audit of the bills?
Lorman will make that motion to approve audit of the bills.
And I will second that. Any discussion? Bills for Bill?
None.
Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the audit of the bills with the addition of $4,995 for RG for replacement of a furnace, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, moving on to, well, we'll start with resolutions. Matt, as we get to each, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know if there's a need for city attorney review and approval on any of these.
Yeah, there is not for any of them.
Okay,
What's the next thing?
thank you. And then Alder Lorman, since you'll be making the motions, with exceptions like the one we just did, the audit of the bills, our motions should be to recommend approval. If you notice, the minutes always say that. So please try to add that to the motion from now on. Instead of us approving it and then council approving it, we're recommending approval by the council. All right, so the first of our two resolutions is Resolution 2024-57, approving the 2025 compensation schedule for non-represented employees.
Okay, Lorman will make a motion for the approval of resolution 2024-57.
Okay, so recommend approval of the resolution. I will second that. This is reflects a 2.5% cost of living increase. Any questions or anything, Brian, you want to bring up?
No, the 2.5% plus market increases. We saw a relatively close to the October ECI increase generally across all employees. The salary schedule is updated with that cost of living increase from the ECI that was 4.8% going into 2025. And we see increases for both of the bargaining units at 3%.
Okay, and then thinking ahead to 2025, the city engineer, director of public works has made it known that he's retiring. And I'm wondering, is filling that position going to be a discussion this committee will have in the near future? And I'm thinking specifically of splitting that position.
That discussion is ongoing. We're currently drawing information and recommendations from the staff on how that could be done. And there will definitely be an opportunity to discuss that.
Great, thanks. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving or recommending to council approval of resolution 2024-57, approving the 2025 compensation schedule for non-represented employees, please signify by saying aye. Aye. The opposed. All right, the ayes have it. Moving on to our second resolution. It's 2024-58, amending the 2025 budget for the Lakeview Tennis Pickleball Court Project. And this comes to us from PRFC.
All right, Lorman would like to make a motion as recommended. Resolution 2024-58, amending the 2025 budget for Lakeview Tennis Pickleball Court Project.
Thank you. I will second that. Any questions or discussion? I have a question for Kylie, please. And it's just simply, why not go for the lighting for the tennis court? Or is that like a future thing?
Yeah. Oh. The lighting wasn't recommended, just because of, the budget. It could be a park improvement, or a park improvement, item to be funded, but it wasn't recommended by PRFC. I did talk to Rettler a little bit further, in making sure that the court build out would be set up for, the lighting to be added at a future date. It could definitely be in 2026.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, any other questions? All right, then all those in favor of recommending approval of resolution 2024-58, amending the 2025 budget for the Lakeview Tennis Pickleball Court project, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to agreements and contracts, we have two. The first one is the intergovernmental agreement with Madison Area Municipal Stormwater Partnership, also known as MAMSWAP.
Lorman would like to make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement with Madison Area Municipal Stormwater Partnership.
Okay, I will second the motion to recommend approval of this agreement. So the increase is mainly because our population growth has taken us up a level. Plus there's, in the future, there will be they're estimating 5% annual increases for funding of a 3/4 time position in the county. And from our memo, it looks like the $10,817 expense in 2025 is within the amount we budgeted, which is actually closer to, just over $15,000. And this is coming from the stormwater utility budget, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
I really like how we're making more use of this resource. I know, it's a requirement that we do this, but I think I've noticed in the past year at least that we've been doing a lot more to coordinate with them and share the information with residents, what they can do to help with stormwater management. Welcome. Okay, so all those in favor of recommending approval of the intergovernmental agreement with Madison Area Municipal Stormwater Partnership signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to agreement, contract number 2, landlord's consent to assignment of lease for Capital Ice Facility. And this comes to us from the city attorney.
Yeah, Lorman would like to make a motion as recommended for the amendment, landlord consent to assign of lease for Capital Ice Facility.
Thank you.
This is Jackson. I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Matt, do you want to give us any background on this, particularly focusing on what risk, if any, there may be to the city?
I think there's relatively little risk. I mean, this is in our lease with Capital Ice already. We have agreed that we would, agree to reasonable consents to assign the lease. There is arguably some little variation in terms of if there's a default, whether the landlord takes over, or the lender rather takes over, how much discretion we have in terms of them being able to reassign the lease or somebody. I don't know if that difference is real big. It's a little difference in the language, but at the end of the day, it's probably, I think we still would have to be reasonable in our judgments, even under the existing lease language. So this is otherwise a pretty straightforward consent, like we've done in other situations. So.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Any questions from the members? All right. If not, then all those in favor of recommending approval of the landlord's consent to assignment of lease for Capital Ice Facilities signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to bids and quotes. We have 1. Request authorization for administrative approval by Brian Gatto to approve bid award for streetlight equipment order on December 19th, 2024.
All right, Lorman would like to make a motion as recommended to request authorization for administrative approval by Brian Gatto to approve the bid award for street lighting equipment order on December 19th of 2024.
Thank you.
This is Jackson. I'll second.
Thank you.
And actually with that motion, could we also get approval of the contract itself as well with that? I think that's how the memo.
So then I'll amend my motion to say, obviously contingent on approval of contract.
Well, let's, if we can discuss for a second and then figure out how best to amend the motion to add whatever language we need. I see the administrative approval as implying of the,
So what's happening is that we've got this out to bid. The bids aren't going to be open until Thursday. We need the actual contract in place and signed before the end of the year because of ARPA funds. And so really this is effectively just an equipment purchase, but we've had to do it in sort of a convoluted way and actually
Sure.
bid the equipment purchase because of DOT requirements. And so this is just a way that we can get the approve and award the bid and then also have approval of the contract itself. So the contract could be signed by the end of the year and we can have those ARPA funds. Yeah,
Obligated is the term.
obligated by the end of the year. And so really that we need a motion that encompasses both approval of the contract, really subject to the city administrator's administrative approval of the low bidder.
so if we were to insert the words and sign a contract after approved bid award, would that be sufficient?
Well, I think we want the council to actually approve the contract as well. So, I mean, normally we would award the bid, and I suppose as part of that motion, we would ask for approval of the contract.
Yeah.
Or maybe that would be
But aren't we,
implicit in the motion. I'm trying to think how we would normally.
aren't we trying to give Brian the authority to approve the contract? Because
I suppose we could word it that way as well. Just as long as the council has delegated approval of not just awarding the bid, but that the contract itself is also approved.
okay, Brian,
Yeah, and I would just say maybe just subject to city attorney and city administrator approval. So, approve the contract subject to city attorney and city administrator approval, in addition to approval of low bidder.
okay. Now, is approval of low bidder implied by approved bid award?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we have to, that's the whole purpose of the bid is just to approve the low bidder.
So approve bid award and approve a contract, and at the end, subject to city attorney and city administrator approval?
I think that works.
Brian, do you agree?
Slight variation. It's a approved bid award and approval of contract by city attorney and city administrator.
Okay. I think we need this
Oh, here.
typed because
Well-
we've got Brian's name in the motion.
Well, I knew we had worked out this language. Sorry, I was trying to find the memo. I think what we worked out, it's, you can find the second paragraph of the descriptive memo here. And we're asking the common council to approve the contract to purchase equipment for LED streetlight replacement subject to city administrator Brian Gatto's administrative approval of the equipment purchase bid award to the lowest qualified bidder.
Well, that should be the motion right there. that
So, yeah,
highlighted
that should be the
paragraph.
motion. And then what about the contract, though?
That's in the, so we're asking the common council and asking finance to do is recommend common council approval of the contract to purchase equipment for the LED streetlight
Well-
replacement. So the contract and the implicit authorization for Brian to administratively approve the bid award is all subsumed in there.
Alder Jackson, would you like to make that motion? The highlighted one, recommend approval?
I make a motion that the common council approve the contract to purchase equipment for LED street light replacement subject to city administrator Brian Gatto's administrative approval of the equipment purchase bid award to the lowest qualified bidder on December 19th with the expenditure not to exceed 200,000.
Would you like to second that?
Orman, second.
Great. Thank you for that. This is a very
I knew somewhere along the line
Yeah.
to come up with the language. we all-
Just think it can, and do we need to, does council need to ratify this in January after?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
All right, so we have a motion. We have a substitute motion. Any questions about this or the project itself?
None.
All right, hearing none. All those in favor of recommending that common council approve the contract to purchase equipment for LED streetlight replacement, subject to city administrator Brian Gatto's administrative approval of the equipment purchase bid awards to the lowest qualified bidder on December 19th with an expenditure not to exceed $200,000, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Remind me at the council level to please ask my question about how we specified December 19th. And whether that could be a potential problem. If it might, do we need that flexibility? We'll change it when we get to council. Okay. Final item on our agenda is the appointment of Middleton Police Captain Jeremy Geisler as acting police chief. And we have no resolution or document for this. So I'm just looking for a motion to recommend this, that council make this appointment.
This is Jackson. I make that motion.
Orman, second.
Discussion.
One point to bring up for this, while the police commission has the authority to select him, the council typically has advanced a increase in pay temporary for acting members as department heads. That's typically about 10%. That would make Jeremy's rate 136,776 until the new police chief comes into his position on the 24th of January. At that point, he'll revert to his 2025 rate.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
I mean, that's the whole point of bringing this in front of the finance. So does that need to be in there or without the specifics or? This really is to agree to a temporary increase in pay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that probably should be added to the wording of the motion, I would say.
Yep. So appointment of,
So Alder Lorman, would you like to amend the motion to add?
I guess, appointment of Middleton Police Chief Captain Jeremy Geisler as acting police chief.
With a commensurate
With a
10%
10%
increase
increase in pay
until
until
January 24th.
January 24th.
Right? Alder Jackson, would you like to?
This is Old
Second
Jackson. I
that.
second that motion.
Okay, so we'll vote on the additional language. All those in favor of adding specifically the reference to the 10% increase until January 24th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, so that amendment passes. And now going back to the main motion with the amended language. All those in favor of approving the appointment of Middleton Police Captain Jeremy Geisler as acting police chief with commensurate 10% increase in compensation until January 24th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We've reached the end of our agenda, so